Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. So, alright. I just I just had a comment, right? Which was pretty cool. I respect the comment, thank you. But I just wanna preface this, okay? I'm not denying or not acknowledging the fact that yes, Aang did not technically die, right? Yes, he did not technically die. But all I'm saying is when Aang went into the Avatar state, he should have involuntarily or involuntarily should have changed the core of the Avatar thing. Gene, I think you called it a gene or whatever. Gene being whatever. If we're looking at this, right? If we are looking at it as if it's like, for example, chaos, right? The chaos magic, the Phoenix Force, right? If we're looking at it through that aspect, right? Wouldn't it make more sense to have more than one avatar, even though one avatar is in status, or what I think it's status. I'm not a doctor, but okay. Moon Knight, for example. How about we look at Moon Knight, for example, right? You have gods, right? And they use avatars, right? Human avatars to do their earthly bidding or whatever. If one has DID, right? Like, for example, Mark, right? If one has the ability to be Moon Knight, right? Or whatever is the Egyptian god deity's next avatar, right? Should that be how we look at Avatar, The Last Airbender? Look, I'm a nerd, okay? I'm a nerd, okay? I just don't. My biggest problem is, yes, although Aang did not technically die, and yes, he did technically disappear, there was a vacuum, there was a void that needed filling when Aang went into the Avatar state for the first time. And with that state being And when he went into that state for the first time, right? When the Fire Nations attacked, or when the Fire Nation attacked, right? And he went into the Avatar state, right? Balled himself in the ocean. For 100 years, he created a void. You're telling me there was no reason for the Avatar state to split? We're just blindly accepting that only one person can have the Avatar. One person, one elemental bender can only have the being of the ability to be the Avatar at a time. It just kind of feels far-fetched to me. Yes, I get it. There has been multiple avatars, right? That has the ability to be connected to the ancestors, right? But with Aang's story and Aang's thing, he changed with when Aang went into the Avatar state, right? He changed. He should have. It should have been made clear that he changed the state of the Avatar. He changed things for what it means to be the Avatar. Like, there should not be just one Avatar. Especially with Aang being alive and dying after, what? After 66? When he died, I believe he died at the age of 66, which means he died at the age of 166, I believe. So, my biggest thing is, for 100 years, there was only one Avatar, and that one Avatar was in stasis with nothing. Like, the Avatar state should have split into two by logic. By logic, and in theory, the Avatar should have split into two. Like, yes, I get it. Aang went into stasis, right? He went into stasis to protect himself. But by him doing that, he also created a void in the other elements. The other elemental benders. So with there being a void in the elemental bending people, there should have been another bender, elemental bender, to fill that void. While Aang was in stasis for 100 years. That's what I'm trying to get at. Like, the logic does not make sense. There's a massive plot hole that just is stupid, in my opinion. Like, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But, like, in theory, there should have been another there should have been another bender, elemental bender, to fill in for the time of Aang's disappearance. And that avatar, whether that was an waterbender, a firebender, or an earthbender, should have been the one to use that ability to be the avatar looking for Aang within that time, within that span of 100 years. And within that 100 years, that avatar dies. And thus a new cycle of there being two avatars at the same time when we find Aang in a giant ice water ball state. There should have been at least two avatars when Aang was found. And with that being said, by the comet's approach, the comet should have made a avatar nexus, pretty much creating like a nexus being. There could have been a nexus avatar because of Aang's innate ability to go into the avatar state for 100 years. He created a void. So, by Aang creating a void within the elements, the elemental bending people ability powered people, the best logical idea should have been the best I could come up with is when Aang caused a void to protect himself, he also created a void. And by there being a void, the avatar should have split into two beings. Should have split from Aang, causing another avatar to go into another elemental powered person and that elemental powered person who had that split avatar should have been that avatar elemental, or the elemental powered person who had that second avatar thing inside them should have been able to have the ability to find Aang, or be able to have the job of finding Aang, because the avatar state, that avatar did not know that second avatar that was created from Aang's avatar should have no knowledge of where or whatnot, and should be on a finding mission of finding Aang for that time period. That missing gap of from the time Aang disappeared to the time Aang was found. I'm just saying, it just does not make sense. It's to me that Aang is the only single avatar for 100 years, especially with the void, with there being a void of an avatar. Like, it just baffles me that, like, that is what we accept. Like, it's just one plot hole that just irks me, and has irked me since the original. Like, for 100 years, Aang left a vacuum-sized void in the elemental bending powered people, and there has not been a single second avatar to allocate for Aang's disappearance. Like, do we see how flawed that logic is by theory, or in theory? Like, there should have been something done when Aang went into the avatar state. Like, by Aang going into the avatar state, he should have split the avatar state or spirit, whatever, should have split into two, the main being in Aang, and the second going into another elemental powered being, causing two avatars, and that second avatar whatever elemental powered was next in line to have that element, to have the avatar being or consciousness in them, should have been on a Aang finding mission, or an Aang style, like, we need to find the avatar that made me type of thing. You know, it's just one of those things that just is the dumbest thing, but also irks me at the same time. Like, I get it. I understand, right? I know it. I know the lore. I understand the lore. I understand the reason, right? But reasonably, if we're thinking about this reasonably, right? The avatar should have reasonably split into two while Aang was still in the avatar state. Just saying, like, the logic is the creators, right, have made one very, very stupid flaw in the avatar. And that flaw is not having there be two avatars by the time Aang disappeared and went into the avatar state. Just saying. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys so far for right now. Please like, share, subscribe. Have a good day. Thanks. I'm a footloose on to the next video, and thank you for the comment. I appreciate it. Also, but anyways, once again, that's all I have for you guys so far for right now. Please like, share, subscribe. Have a good day. Thanks. Catch you guys on the flip side. I'm a footloose on to the next video.